Good morning, you guys. So when you guys first come in, can you guys let me see your faces? I don't mind if you turn your video cameras off later, but I like to get to see your faces. Thanks. I see Ian and Toby and Myri and Ellie and Malia and Gus and Maddie and Victoria and Ella. There's Alex. So I am going to attempt to do this taking roll thing again. This took a little longer than I would have liked it to. There, I now see Caitlin and Braxton. All right. Okay, so while everybody is getting in here, let's see, I just wanted to kind of check in with you guys about a couple of things. I am posting, I'm going to attempt to put this in the chat right now. I am hoping that I can send you guys a Google form using the chat, and I don't know if it's going to work. Bear with me here. But I'm going to attempt to send you guys the link here in the chat for you guys to just go into a Google form and basically just write your name. And I'm hoping that way that allows me to kind of keep track of who was in the live Zoom. So give that a try. And let me know if that doesn't work for you, because if it doesn't work, I have a backup plan. I can tell you that it did not work for everybody in my calculus class, so I have a feeling it's not going to work. So I want to remind you guys that these meetings are not mandatory to do live, but you absolutely have to watch the recorded version later. If you don't see the live one, there's always going to be important information I want to relay to you guys. A lot of the actual learning I'm trying to do outside of these live Zoom meetings. But they are still important. Oh, there's Maddie. Hi, Maddie. Let me see if I see other people's faces that I didn't see before. Nope. Okay, so again, I do like getting to see your guys' faces. Once I've recognized and said, hey, I see your face, if you want to turn your video off because that helps with internet connection, that's totally okay with me. So, so how is the Google form going? Is everybody able to get in there? Okay, you're not.
Let me copy it.
Okay, I had a feeling. So I'm going to put it in Google Classroom then. I'm posting it in Google Classroom right now. So see if you can go over to Google Classroom, and I won't do anything on the screen here. You won't miss anything if you go over to Google Classroom to do that. But let's see, I can see that I have Ella and Wendy and Ian and Victoria and Toby and Caitlin and Braxton, Ellie, Maddie, and Myri have all been able to do that. So let's see, Sienna, you just jumped in here. There is a Google form that I posted in Google Classroom, and also in the chat there's a link. So whatever way you can get in there to do that. Marley, you just jumped in, so make sure you get in there. And on the Google Classroom, there is a Google form for you to fill out. All right. Anybody not able to get in there to fill that out? Everybody's in there now, able to do the Google form. I need you to say something to me so that I can make sure to mark down that you're here, because otherwise I'm using that as my attendance.
Hello.
Gotcha, Marley.
Hi.
Who's hi? Caitlin. Yep, I got you, Caitlin.
Hi.
Okay, so Gus, you weren't able to do it either?
I got it done in the on Classroom.
Okay, it doesn't matter where you did it. If it's done, and I've got your attendance, so that's good. Okay, so I got Caitlin and Marley. I don't know if Sienna was able to get in there. Anybody else? Oh, there's Natalia. All right, so I think I'll just kind of mark people down as they come in now so that we don't waste any more time with that. But it looks like I still only have about 12 responses there. And it looks like I have 20 people in here, so I'm definitely missing a few. So please make sure you say, Miss Grassl, did you get that I'm here? If you were not able to fill in that Google form for me. And that way I can make sure I can keep track of who is here. All right, so I have a few things that I want to talk to you guys about. So the first thing is I want to make sure that you guys know that I am updating all of the work that you guys turn in on Aries. And the reason that's important for you is because I need you guys to go and look at it and make sure it's accurate. Okay, if there's anything there that's not accurate, then I need you to send me an email and let me know, hey, Miss Grassl, I turned this in, but it's not showing on Aries. It's also a place for you to go to make sure that you have everything done and turned in. You should have full credit on everything that we're doing here in this distance learning. And so if I return something to you that you didn't get full credit on, I usually leave you a note there at the assignment saying, please fix this and then resubmit it. So you can fix it, resubmit it, and get that full credit. Toby, I see you're unmuted. Did you have a question?
No.
Okay.
That must have been.
No problem.
I think it unmutes when you hit the space bar.
Oh, and you hit
the space
bar. Gotcha. Okay, cool. No problem. Let's see. I wanted to make sure you guys know too that in Aries, your grade can go up, it cannot go down. Anything that I am collecting from you guys, I'm not marking as complete, which means that if you didn't do something, it's not gonna make your grade go down, but keep in mind that it can help your grade go up. So I'm encouraging you guys, especially if you don't already have an A, it's really important to do those to help your grade go up. So keep that in mind. I wanted to take a second. Oh, Myra, you got a question?
Yeah, about your grade can't like go down thing. Is that like just in the math department? Because like some of my other teachers are actually changing grades. Like,
I don't know.
Okay.
I would definitely ask them about that. There's supposed to be this thing called no harm grading. I don't know if it's a law necessarily, but it's from like the California Department of Education kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm telling you your grade will not go down. And your grade may go up and down with other classes right now, but it shouldn't, at the end, it shouldn't be lower than it was when we saw each other for the last time, when they got your third quarter grade. So they may have put stuff in that was third quarter stuff that may have changed your grade, but that's supposed to be like, that's the mark.
Okay.
That it can't go down from there because of the no harm grading thing. So, you know, if that's something that you're concerned about, you can certainly send your teacher an email and ask about that. But that's, again, something that you probably wouldn't want to ask in front of the whole class because it might create embarrassment for the teacher. And so, thanks. Okay. I wanted to remind you guys that I do have office hours every day. If you guys ever need help with the math stuff, or if you just want to see a familiar face, I don't mind if you guys jump in, but it's every afternoon at 2 o'clock, except on Wednesdays, it's at 3 o'clock, and it's for an hour. And it's if you need help with math stuff, or like I said, if you just want to see a familiar face or two, you're welcome to just jump in to say hello to me or to anybody that's in there. And the invitation is always going to be the same one for those office hours. So if I forget to post it for some reason, it's the same one that I've posted every time. So you can just use that, that same link, but I'm trying to remember to post a new one every day. Let's see. I wanted to show you guys a few things with Google Classroom. So give me just a second while I switch to a different screen here. Okay, so I believe you guys can see my Google Classroom. And you guys have the same ability to go between the stream, which is just like the order that things get posted, and the classwork. The classwork is something that I want you guys to make sure you know about, because in this classwork section is where I have things kind of organized by topic. And so it makes it really easy to see, okay, do I have all of the stuff from this week, right? This is week 2, April 6th. Did I watch that video lesson? Did I do the lesson notes? Did I do the assignment? Just this morning, I posted a help video to kind of help with the application and extension problems. And then you can probably see that grayed out right there. The solutions to the assignment will be posting tomorrow. So, you know, you're supposed to turn the assignment in today. And then if it gets, like if I say, please fix this, and I I return it to you and I ask you to fix it and resubmit it, you will have access to those solutions. So if you didn't know how to do something, you could look at that. You could also come to the office hours to get help. But I wanted to make sure you guys knew that that was there. Okay, so I've got, you know, the different topics. Here's the Zoom meetings. And so, you know, later today, I will have the recording of this video posted here in Zoom meetings. And then like here is the office hour information. And so this has the link to the office hours in it here too. Let me scroll up a little bit more. Oh boy, I better check on that redirect notice. I don't know what that is. Okay, and so that has what the office hours are and then the invitation to it. So maybe I need to check on that. But anyway, that's all there in Google Classroom. I thought that was interesting. I wanted to take a second to show you guys the difference between when somebody scans an assignment versus taking a picture of an assignment, because it really is a lot easier for me to see when it's a scan. So I hope I don't embarrass the people whose work I'm showing you here, but here is Jimena's work, and this is a scanned document, and it's just really easy. It's very clear. It's really easy for me to scroll through. And so, you know, if you're able to scan, that really helps me. If you're not able to scan and all you can do is take a picture, that's okay. It's just, it makes it a lot easier for me. And that's important because I have so many things that I have to grade online, and I'm sitting in front of a computer for hours and hours and hours on end trying to grade stuff. So if you can make it easier for me, here's one where there's 2 separate pictures you can see. It takes a minute to switch back and forth between the pictures. It's not zoomed in, but I can zoom in, and so I can see it. It's doable. Sometimes I actually get on my phone because sometimes pictures cut off the bottom of things. So that doesn't work great. So the pictures are harder for me to see. The scan stuff is way easier. So if you're able to scan for me, I really appreciate it. Let's see. I want to take just a second to just kind of check in. Can you guys let me know if there's anything that you're having issues with, whether it's access to a computer or Wi-Fi issues, or you're not able to print things, which you don't have to do, but sometimes it does make it easier. So, you know, is there anything that you don't have access to that you need that I might be able to help with? Can you guys just unmute yourself and jump in if there's something that you'd like to say at this point? Give me a thumbs up if you are good and you don't have any needs. Can you guys figure out how to use the thumbs up? Either show me with your face, or a lot of people are using the thumb up button. Good. Okay. Good. Seeing a lot of thumbs up. Awesome. Okay. So then I wanted to show you guys kind of a neat thing. If you're looking for something else to do, you know, like if you're bored or something, there is, let me share my screen with you again, a different screen. And if you're interested in this, I can share the website address for this, but it's coding stuff. And so they actually are doing it live right now. It's every Wednesday at the same time, but you can go back and see the the video and the live lesson. Like right now, Ashton Kutcher, I don't know if you guys like Ashton Kutcher, but I think he's really cool. He's in there and he could be talking to you if you were in the live version right now. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. And then there's a guy that kind of leads you through a lesson, and they have an activity that you can do. And so I thought that was kind of a neat thing that I wanted to tell you guys about. Not something anybody has to do, but if anybody's interested, I thought that was kind of a neat thing that you could check out if you wanted to. Let's see. I think that's everything there. So now I'm going to take just a few minutes to talk about this week's lesson. So let's see, I think I will actually switch over to my document camera at this time and get out my my work for this week. No, that's not it. That's it. Okay. Okay, so there's my document camera. I wanted to take a minute just to kind of talk about some of the things in the notes. The first thing I wanted to make sure you guys remember the stuff that we learned last week, the 30, 60, 90 ratios. Can you unmute yourself and jump in and tell me, what do you know about the side lengths in this triangle here? Because it's a 30, 60, 90.
I know that the shortest side is across from the 30, so that would be the bottom one. And that would be 1. And then across from the 60, which would be the vertical one, that is 2. No, it's square root 3. And then across from the 90 is 2.
All right, good. Good. And so if you can always remember those ratios, the 1 to root 3 to 2, and keep in mind that those are across from the small, the medium, and the large angles, right? Then that is something that really helps you with these special right triangles. And this week we learned a new ratio, right? This week's lesson was about a new kind of special right triangle, a 45, 45, 90. And anybody want to jump in and tell us what you learned about the 45, 45, 90 sides? Nobody? Come on, guys.
Okay, I can go again, but like,
Extra points for Malia for today, for jumping in.
hey, all right, so yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Somebody just wrote on my paper. Who did that? That's pretty cool.
That was me.
That was Gus?
Yeah, I used to annotate.
Cool.
Pretty fun.
Except I moved my paper and then that screwed it all up. But here, I'll put it back. I'll put it back. That's what I was going to write in there. Good job. Okay. Bonus points for Gus today too. Just kidding. There's no bonus points. But yeah, the two short sides are 1 and 1, and then the long side or the hypotenuse is a root 2. Okay, so this is almost easier, right, than the 30, 60, 90, because you got those two sides that are the same, and then this side here. And again, if you can remember those ratios there, the 1 to 1 to root 2, and the 1 to root 3 to 2, that is really, really helpful. Thanks, Gus, for taking the annotation away again. Okay, let's see. I wanted to make sure you guys understood how to rationalize a denominator. So for example, in example 4, I'll refer to example 4, they have the 6 divided by root 2 is the length of side x. And because you have a square root in the denominator, in the bottom of the fraction, they don't like you to leave square roots in the bottom of the fraction. And I'm going to tell you guys a little secret about that. Mathematicians don't care about that anymore. That was a really big thing forever. And I think it had to do with just making it easier to use things in a calculator. But just with technology the way it is these days, people don't care as much about that. But sometimes you have to take multiple choice tests and that kind of thing. And so you'll have to be able to recognize those answers, which probably will be in the rationalized form. And then again, that's called rationalizing the denominator. And that just means we're going to make the denominator rational. And so since it's a root 2 in the denominator, we multiply the denominator by root 2. But if we're going to do that, we have to multiply the numerator by root 2 because that's like multiplying by 1, right? And by multiplying by 1, we're not changing the value of it. And so in the numerator, we end up with that 6 root 2. In the denominator, we end up with a root 2 times a root 2, which would be a root 4 because both numbers are under the square root. We can multiply them together. And then that simplifies to be a 2. And then because the 6 and the 2 are both outside of a radical, we can divide those, right? So we can do the 6 divided by 2. And like you saw in the video, that ends up being a 3 root 2, okay? On that same note, just because this was again something that people kind of struggled with, is if you are multiplying numbers with irrational parts to them, so like 4 square root of 5 times the square root of 2, because both the 5 and the 2 are under a square root, we can multiply those together. Because the 4 is outside of the square root, it has to stay outside. So then under the square root, I have the 5 times the 2, which is the 10. And then we would see if we could simplify that radical, which we cannot. Okay. And then the last thing that I wanted to kind of emphasize was the shortcut method, because I think it really does make it easy to do the problems quickly when you use the shortcut method. And so the idea with the shortcut method is, again, remembering the ratios of the sides of a 45, 45, 90. And so if you start with, like, let's say they give you that the hypotenuse is, let's say 10. In order to find the shorter legs, it's getting smaller, and so I'm going to divide, right? Well, what is it that I divide by? Well, the ratios in a 45, 45, 90 are 1 to 1 to root 2. And so what am I going to divide by? I'm going to divide by that root 2. And so then this side over here ends up being whatever 10 divided by root 2 is, which I again have to rationalize. So then I get 10 root 2 over 2, because the root 2 and the root 2 multiply to get root 4, which is just 2. And then again, the 10 and the 2 are both outside a radical, so I can divide those to get the 5 root 2. Right? And if I know this side over here is a 5 root 2, then what does that make this side over here? I would have to multiply by 1. Hey, that's the same thing, right? You don't even need to multiply by 1, right? It's just the same thing, just 5 root 2 also. So I do really like that shortcut. It makes it a lot easier. You can set up, you know, another 45, 45, 90 where you have the sides labeled with the 1, the root 2, and solve a proportion. So you can do that. Yeah. I'm going to stop sharing because that screen just froze on me. So that's all I have for today, and we do have a little bit of time still, so I'm going to just take a second to say if you have any questions, I will take those questions. If you do not, you are welcome to wave goodbye or to unmute yourself and say goodbye and sign out. But it was good to see you guys. Thanks for coming today. And if you have not yet filled out the Google form, please make sure you do that to show that you were in the live session. Okay, thanks. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming.
So I had a question about the practice sheet on
Okay.
the very last question, number 4, where it's like, which has an area that is greater and all that stuff. And I forget how to make a, like, get an area out of a triangle. Like, have we covered that yet, or?
Well, it's kind of one of those things that you should know. And I think that because I lost my, document camera, I'm going to try to switch to just a whiteboard that I will just annotate to kind of help you.
Okay.
And so I think you'll be able to see me writing stuff here, right?
Yeah, I can see it. Thank you.
Okay. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height.
Okay.
Base times the height. And then I'm going to take just a minute to talk about what the base and the height in a triangle are. I'm going to draw a little triangle, kind of like the right triangles we've been working with. Ugh. Not really easy to draw using my mouse pad, so my hypotenuse didn't come out real straight. But the base is, it doesn't matter which side you make the base, but it should feel like it's horizontal, okay? And so you might turn your triangle a different way to make it feel like it's horizontal. And then the height is the perpendicular distance from the base to the highest point. So on something like this, it's really easy to tell what the base and the height are.
Yeah, they're the two parts of like the square, 90-degree triangle or 90-degree angle thingy.
Right. I just want to show you real quick since you were, oh, come on. Oh, come on. Struggling here. Draw. Okay. Okay. So if I had a triangle that was more like this and I called this the base, I just want to point out that the height would not be part of the triangle. It would be this kind of vertical distance here that is perpendicular to the base. So it's not always going to be two sides of a triangle. Now, when we're working with the right triangles, it's really easy to make the two sides that are perpendicular to each other, one the base and one the height. So,
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So hopefully that helps. And if you need more advice on that, you're welcome to come to the office hours later today to get some more help on that. Anybody else have questions?
What are you supposed to do on 3B?
Okay, on 3B, let me see where you are. Okay.
It just seemed like there was like no information to it. So
Okay, so you are, I agree. I totally hear what you're saying. On 3B, you're supposed to still use the information that he's shooting a web 450 feet. They don't say that there.
Oh.
But if you watch the video that I just posted this morning, they'll tell you that there. And I agree. I looked at that. I was like, I don't have information. How am I supposed to do this?
Okay.
But yeah, so that's what you're supposed to do with that one.
All right, cool.
All good?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for coming.
All right, thanks, Ms. Grassl.
Bye-bye.
Bye.